Hey, what is happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? Thank you for tuning into Rules for Rebels. I just wanted to make a quick video. It's really early in the morning here in Chicago, but just wanted to make a quick video talking about two big things going on today. We have the Segwit2X fork, and we also have the Ingus airdrop. So it's, I don't know, it's 6 something in the morning here in Chicago. I believe the Ingus airdrop should be happening sometime around 6:30 Central Time. So really kind of any minute now. I just checked my Bittrex account, and I don't have a ton of NXT. I had 200 NXT. NXT really tanked yesterday. But I do not yet have Ingus in my wallet. I'm pretty sure the snapshot was already taken, probably within the past few minutes. And the Ingus coins are going to be airdrop. So that's what I wanted to talk about today is Segwit2X as well as the airdrop. Before I get started, I am going to link in the description box below to a video from Brian Phobos. Brian Phobos is one of my buddies from over at Steemit. I really respect this guy's opinion, very knowledgeable about the crypto space, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he has a background in, computer science or something like that. So he has a little bit more insight into the technical side of things. He's running Steemit bots, he's running full nodes for Bitcoin, like just has a lot more insight into the space than myself and probably a lot of you guys as well. So check him out on YouTube. I'm going to link to this particular video where he really kind of goes in depth talking about the Segwit2X fork as well as Ingus, and he even went on to kind of suggest how you can play both of them. So he's in Arizona, so he was saying the Ingus airdrop is going to be about 4:30 in the morning his time. Segwit, I think, isn't going to happen until about noon his time. So I guess he's kind of split his coins up 50-50, trying to collect some of the Ingus coins and also trying to take advantage of the fork. And then he might try to shuffle some money from Bittrex over to hit BTC and maybe try to pile a little bit more money in on the Bitcoin fork later today. But a lot of stuff going on. So I actually made a video about this the other day. Actually, I think it was yesterday. And a lot of stuff to cover, guys. So first off, it's kind of come out in the past day or so that the Segwit2X futures, which we had talked, or not Segwit2X futures, it's kind of come out that Segwit2X is not being run by the same guys who were going to do Segwit2X back in December. It's a completely different team. They're basically trying to piggyback off the name and off the reputation and off the notoriety of Segwit2X. So yesterday we saw futures trading at what, $1,100-$1,200. Today they're down to $508. The Segwit2X looks like it's going to wind up being a total flop, which means probably the smartest move would have been to sell your Segwit2X futures back at $1,100 or $1,200. I've always been curious about selling futures on HitBTC, but I never really fully understood how the process works. Like, how long are they going to lock up my coins for? I'm assuming that I have to send my Bitcoins over there so that they can keep them as collateral. Because if I just said, okay, I'll give away my futures, if I didn't also send my Bitcoin over there as collateral, well, the futures happen, and I'm like, okay, give me my, money for Segwit2X, and then I'm not going to actually give you my Segwit2X coins. So that's why I believe you have to lock them up on HitBTC, or at least like have them sitting on HitBTC so that they can kind of take a snapshot, take your Segwit2X futures, and then give them to the people who actually bought the futures. And it was kind of refreshing to hear Brian Phobos say that he also was confused as hell about how to kind of participate in the futures market on HitBTC. It really is confusing. There's not a lot of details on like how long you're going to lock up your Bitcoins and things like that for. And I may do it with like a little bit of money, but I probably wouldn't throw all my money into HitBTC. I mean, they're a decent exchange, but I just don't trust them enough to give them like everything I have. But yeah, here's where Segwit2X futures are trading right now. For anybody wondering about Ingus and like what is Ingus, I'm really confused by like this NXT. What's the relation between NXT, Ardor, and Ingus? So NXT was the first coin. That's kind of the technology. There's a company called, like, I'm totally going to botch the name, but Jelly Belly Fish, or I don't know, some crap like that. They're like the development team behind it. So whoever had NXT a while back got airdropped Ardor. ARDR is the ticker symbol for Ardor. And I think I've talked about Ardor before. I was holding Ardor back when it was, I don't know, under 20 cents or something like that. And Ardor has really, really grown and become worth something pretty decent. Well, now what Ardor can do is Ardor can have, I guess, what they call child chains. So Ingus is going to be a child chain of Ardor and NXT. So basically, if you hold NXT, you will get Ingus if you held NXT at probably about, like I said, about 6:30 this morning Chicago Chicago time roughly. Now, how this Ignis thing's going to work, it's not a one-to-one airdrop, or, a lot of times, like when Bitcoin forks, if you have 1 Bitcoin, you get 1 Bitcoin. With the Ignis airdrop, for every 1 NXT you have, you get 0.5 Ignis. So if you have 100 NXT, you're going to get 50 Ignis. Well, right now, the futures market is trading at 1355. Volume is really, really light. Volume is like $17,000. So this could easily be manipulated. It may actually be much, much lower than this. Bittrex, oddly enough, of all exchanges, said that they would airdrop coins. You don't have to be holding your coins in the actual official NXT wallet. Even if your money is on Bittrex, you will get airdropped these coins. I've been talking a lot about Binance lately. Binance does not sell NXT, so that's not an opportunity to get these coins airdropped to you. But what a lot of people are saying is, okay, I'm going to dump all my Bitcoins into NXT, collect these Ignis futures, dump those immediately, then send my Bitcoin over to hit BTC and try to take advantage of this fork. Now, in regards to the fork, I'm going to take you guys over to another link, and I'll try to link to all these screens I'm showing you in the description box below. But late in the afternoon yesterday, all these posts started appearing. Segwit2X, beware, it seems it's a scam, etc., etc., etc. So basically, a lot of people are very, very hesitant to get involved with anything with like Eastern Europeans, partly because there's a lot of scams coming out of that area. Their countries oftentimes are either corrupt or don't have laws that would actually bring these people to justice. So it's like people can scam people out of millions of dollars, and there's really not any accountability. They're not going to get in trouble, etc., etc., etc. So a lot of people just stay away from like anything coming out of like the Ukraine or Romania or anywhere around there. But as far as why people are calling this a scam, it's not the same team that was going to do Segwit2X back in November. And a lot of people, including myself, are really, really confused about... I don't feel like pulling it up, but they essentially said, okay, Segwit2X is back. If you're holding Bitcoins at the time of the fork, you'll keep your original Bitcoin, you'll get Segwit2X coins, and you'll get an equal amount of original Satashi Nakamodo coins. Now, I guess when Satashi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, the real Bitcoin, not some BS fork, he pre-mined 1 million coins for himself. Those coins, to my knowledge, have never been moved. So what these guys are saying is somehow they're going to like pass out these original Satashi Nakamoto coins. However, I believe they've pre-mined 6 million coins. So essentially, everyone is saying that this whole thing is just a huge scam for these guys to enrich themselves. And I think pretty much all Bitcoin forks are huge scams. If we look back to Bitcoin Gold, those guys set up Bitcoin Gold, pre-mined a bunch of Bitcoin Gold, and made themselves rich. So all these Bitcoin forks are nothing more than developers deciding that, hey, I can make myself a couple tens of millions of dollars by forking Bitcoin. So, again, I'll link to this. You guys can read all about this yourself. But kind of the biggest beefs is the team involved in it has some kind of side project where they've already pre-mined a bunch of coins. And I guess there's some kind of maybe loophole in the code where that they can steal a lot of coins back later. So yeah, I'll let you guys read about it. I'm not even gonna try to delve into that. What were we gonna do next? Bittrex, hard fork. Okay, so the Bitcoin fork is gonna happen at block 501.451. Right now, 11 minutes ago, we had the block 501.424. New blocks happen about every 10 minutes or so. So I guess this probably should be happening sometime around, I don't know, we'll say 2:30 East, or I'm sorry, 2:30 Central Time is when that's actually going to happen. Let's see. I'll take you just briefly over here. So hard fork, take 2, Segwit2X will return December 28th. The controversial Segwit2X hard fork will go ahead on December 28th, according to the project's official website, which we can pull up the official website. As you can see from this site, this is not the same team who did the first Segwit2X, but the Segwit2X project, which caused months of debate and infighting among the Bitcoin community prior to its last-minute cancellation in November, now says it will fork off at block 501.451 in 2 days' time. Now, one thing that I think was kind of irresponsible of Coinbase and a lot of other exchanges, as well as like a site like Cointelegraph, which I think is really reputable, is nobody really pointed out the fact that this is being done by a different team of developers. Nobody's really pointed that out, which I think is a huge deal. But anyhow, they go on to say the project's founder and lead developer, Jaap Turlu stated on their site that the fork aims to address issues of commission and transaction speed with the Bitcoin network, adding that currently Bitcoin is almost impossible to use. Our team will carry out the hard fork, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, yeah, I thought it was kind of irresponsible that, like, Coinbase back in November addressed Segwit2X and said that, you know, if there was some support, they would support both sides. But nobody has really come out and said that this Segwit2X is not really the same thing as the first Segwit2X. It's not the same development team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's kind of everything I wanted to cover. Like I said, I would definitely suggest you guys watch Brian Phobos' video. He does a much better job of breaking this down, and I mean it's already I guess right now it's what, a little before 7 a.m. So I think the Ingus airdrop snapshot has probably already been taken. So I guess your chance to participate in both of these things has probably already passed. But if you guys kind of want to change your strategy or change up what you're doing in regards to the fork, the Bitcoin fork, you know, watch Brian Phobos' video. I think he gives a little bit more insight. And then one other thing I just wanted to add, I had actually sold off a lot of altcoins yesterday. I was kind of expecting some people to dump altcoins to get back into Bitcoin to try to collect their, you know, quote unquote free money. We haven't really seen that happening, but nonetheless, I mean, alts have been on such an insane run lately. I really don't think it can continue. So I was going to try to go back into Bitcoin. I've accumulated some Bitcoin because when we trade in Bitcoin pairs, our goal ultimately is to try to accumulate more Bitcoin. So I've accumulated more Bitcoin. I'm thinking that maybe alts might have a little bit of a pullback here. And when that happens, I'm ready to fire and ready to go heavy on the alts. So a little bit of kind of an all over the place video today, guys. I realize that, but really I just kind of wanted to tell you guys to check out Brian Phobos' video and also link to some of these different articles and Reddit posts and things like that so that you guys can kind of do your own research. We're really just kind of trying to bring out some info here and hopefully start a discussion. So let me know if any of you guys are holding NXT, what your plans are to do with your Ingus coins. Are you going to dump them right away? NXT has been tanking, so if you did happen to get into NXT, and I've seen your money kind of decline, one thing you may want to consider, I believe the NXT wallet has a feature called forging, which sounds like faking coins or something like that. In reality, it's just kind of their staking method. So you can, you know, if you're sitting on a bunch of NXT that you bought to collect this Ingus and you're down on it, you might as well send it over to the NXT wallet and start your foraging, and you can earn a little bit of interest or a dividend, so to speak. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the video, guys. You know, really kind of wanted to start a discussion. If there's anything I left out, or if there's anything you feel is worth adding, please drop it in the comment section below, and I'll put kind of links to all the different sites and things that we chatted about in the description box below as well. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will check you guys out on the next video.